Okay, well, first and foremost, welcome to Principles of Accounting 2. I am your host, Dr. B. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be with all of you. A lot of familiar faces in the classroom, so welcome back. Welcome to Principles of Accounting 2. Some of you took this course with me at the beginning of this semester with Principles of Accounting 1. And some of you took Principles of Accounting 1 back in the summer or spring. So welcome to Principles of Accounting 2. This is a continuation of Principles of Accounting 1. We use the same textbook. We use the same philosophy of teaching and the same classroom design that you're used to when you had me for Principles of Accounting 1. So the first part of this lecture is I'm going to show you the classroom, what it looks like, where to find things. We'll briefly look at the syllabus, the basic first aid things that we would normally do. So the first thing you should do, of course, is to access Blackboard and log into the classroom. That's challenge number one sometimes. Once you get into the classroom, then we're going to scroll to this part that says Start Here. The Start Here, when you click on Start Here, the idea is you want to start there. That's why it's called Start Here. So a couple of things are going on in this course, and so it's really important that we follow in order. So the first thing you'll select is the Welcome and Course Overview, which basically tells you what the course learning objectives are, in a very general sense. The second part is instructor information. So here you'll find my email address. This is my cell phone number, okay? You're more than welcome to text me. That's totally fine if that's how you're comfortable. Just make sure you tell me who you are and tell me what class you're in, so that way I know, okay? I can better assist you that way. One of the best things to do is to set up office hours with me. We could do a WebEx session one-on-one where I can better explain concepts, or if you have more personal questions you want to ask me, that's a good place to do it. And then, of course, a little bit more about my teaching philosophy. So when you do want to set up office hours, and I can't find the link right now, I'll get it in there. I'll have an office hours link for you, right, and I'll put it in right here, okay? So that's instructor information. You'll notice that the next thing on this list says UDC LinkedIn Learning Activation. For those of you who just took Principles of Accounting 1 with me, we utilized LinkedIn Learning for some videos and also for certificates. I find that when you take something away from a course and you take it with you, like a certificate, and you could put it on your resume, you could put it on your LinkedIn profile, that makes the course more valuable to you. And I also feel that these types of things do improve employment opportunities in the future, especially when you're certified in something. Okay, so that's why we do the LinkedIn Learning certificates through Principles of Accounting 1 and now Principles of Accounting 2. So I do need you to do this, and I need you to do it kind of right away, like today if you can. And if you haven't already. If you've done it already back in Principles of Accounting 1 with me, great, you don't need to do anything. But if you haven't, and it's been a while since you've had a course with me, you're going to want to make sure that you've enabled your LinkedIn Learning account. And the best way to do that is to follow this very simple 9-step process that is outlined in this PDF. The account is free, okay? UDC pays for it. It's a part of your tuition. All right. So LinkedIn Learning, what it is, you can take many LinkedIn Learning courses that lead to certificates. Those certificates you add to your LinkedIn profile and also to your resume. It's a pretty awesome thing that UDC is doing for the students. And I strongly encourage you, if you don't already have one, you should create a LinkedIn profile. I think it will be extremely beneficial for you in the long run. And no, it's not a social media thing. It's not like, Facebook or Twitter or whatever's. It's not like that. LinkedIn Learning is a professional networking site, which is significantly different than a traditional social media thing. It's also a great way to connect with other professionals. So that's the LinkedIn Learning activation steps. Please make sure that you follow that process and procedure. The Connecticut guidelines I'm not going to go over, but it just shows you how proper form and style with online learning. And then, of course, the syllabus. This syllabus is the syllabus, yeah? A couple of things I want you to note in the syllabus. Of course, the course learning objectives, this is what you're being measured on. You'll notice that it's a little bit shorter than Principles of Accounting 1 because the Principles of Accounting 2 is in addition to the Principles 1. The textbook. The textbook is the 25th edition, Fundamental Accounting Principles through, who was it through? Wiley? No, I'm sorry. It's this one right here. It's the McGraw-Hill. You should already have access to that if you recently took Principles of Accounting 1 with me. If you took Principles 1 back in the summer or in the spring of this year, the version has updated to edition 25. Okay. There's a link in the classroom for you to access the textbook. I would need to make sure that you have access to that right away. So the best way to do that is you can come right here where it says Brightway of Course Materials and then click on that link and it should open up your textbooks. And one of those should be this one right here, which is the Fundamental Accounting Principles. If for whatever reason that doesn't work for you, like it's not working or the book's not showing up, please send me an email right away so I can get in touch with the bookstore manager to have that issue resolved. Okay, because the textbook's going to be important. Yeah. Going back to the syllabus, I'm coming down here to the graded activities and assessments area. LaQuanta, yes.
It was an accident.
Oh, no worries. Okay. It's all good. The graded activities and assessments area is probably the most important area of the syllabus, in my opinion. It tells you what's going on in this course. 7 discussion boards. Dr. B, what are you doing? Yeah, 7 discussion boards. 4 hypothesis annotations. 16 quizzes. Is it really 16? Might be. I think it's a little less than that. LinkedIn Learning courses, there's 6 of them. Yeah, absolutely. Midterm exam, final exam. You'll notice the point scale. It's out of 1,000, roughly 1,000. What I'm trying to get at is that it's impossible for you to pass this course without doing all of the work. It really is. You have to do all the work. It'll be very, very, very difficult for you to pass without doing all the work. Is it possible? Sure. But that's not to say that you shouldn't do all the work. Please do all the work. Don't skip anything. Don't don't skip around either. Go in order. Go in sequence. Okay, that's really important as well. When are things due? Every Sunday night. Every single Sunday night, you'll have about 4 things to do for this course. Yeah, it's a lot. But remember, this is an 8-week course. We've condensed 16 weeks of a course down into 8. Okay. Think of it like an accelerated course because it is. It really is. So, the time commitment, it'll take on average 15 to 20 hours per week of work in this course. On average. Okay. Some students will do it quicker, some might take a little longer. That's okay. But just understand what the time commitment is. I know that you all have families, you have work obligations and life obligations. I get that. Oh, and not to mention the other courses you're taking. I get that. Okay. So just pace yourself. My recommendation for success is do a little bit of work each week, typically on Thursdays, and of course throughout the weekend. Yeah. That's your best bet. Okay. And of course the grading scale, and disregard obviously the week format, because the way it really works is that there's 2 components rolled into each week. Yeah. So for example, this week we're going to do QuickBooks in chapter 17. Next week we'll do 18 and 19. The following week we'll do 20 and 21, etc. So, but that's the syllabus in a very general sense. So I will post the updated version of that because obviously that's for a 16-week format, but the same principle applies and the same numerical scale applies. So then, of course, you got the book, which you'll access right there. And then you'll notice this thing that says course map. A course map basically is a way for you to understand how things are aligned. Okay. Don't spend too much time with this document, but the reason why this document exists is because it is a wonderful way to show you how each course learning objective is mapped to each week. Yeah. And how each quiz question is mapped to the course level objectives. So it's just a way to show you how everything's connected. Yeah. That's why we call it a course map. So nothing fancy there. Just wanted to show you what it looked like. Syllabus quiz, take it, don't take it. It doesn't matter. It's not graded. In fact, yeah, we're going to remove it. That shouldn't actually even belong there. So don't worry about it. There's an icebreaker. We don't need to do that either. So sorry, I didn't realize that those 2 things were still in there. And of course, introductions, which I know that some of you have already been introducing yourselves, and I do sincerely appreciate that. So if you want to post a short introduction about yourself, that would be awesome. Your preferred name, that kind of thing, what you want to do after the course is done, whatever. Have fun with it. And then, of course, they ask the instructor, but you can always post your question in there. You can ask me directly. You can email it to me, text it to me, whatever. I try to make myself available to you all the time in all different ways. So don't ever feel like you can't talk to me, because I promise you I'll be here for you no matter what. And hopefully you know that by now. Okay, so yeah, that's the start here area. So please feel free to walk through that that part of the course. Second area is called student resources. Most of you by now are familiar with the way that Blackboard works. We use Blackboard Ultra here, which is this format that we're looking at right now. Within this orientation area, if you're unfamiliar with how to take a quiz or whatever it may be, I strongly encourage you to take a look at that orientation. It's not graded, but it can help. The other one's called Introduction to Digital Learning and Strategies. This is a nice little thing that the university helped to put together to help you to understand the type of courses that we offer. And it talks about our type of setting. This is technically more like a hybrid course because most of our work is done in the classroom online, but we have lectures every Tuesday. Yep. Okay. And of course, the last part in there is the UDC policies and services. So yeah, please feel free to look through. Definitely start with the Start Here area. And then the rest of the course. Yes, LaQuanta.
Now I do have a question. You said we just have lectures every Tuesday. What about
Yes.
the Tuesday?
Yeah, great question. So because we have a time frame from 5:30 to 8:50, that's a lot of time. So my thought is, and this is the way I've done it historically, is that we'll have lectures on Tuesdays where we'll review the chapters, we'll talk, we'll engage with the content. On Thursdays, I really want you to use that class time, 5:30 to 8:50, to complete the work for that week. Okay. Having that time set aside, 5:30 to 8:50 on Thursdays to do the work for that week is really going to help you when it comes to managing your other courses. You see, it allows you that opportunity to complete and submit the work. If you do it on Thursday, you'll be ahead of the game. Okay, so that way when Sunday rolls around, you don't have to be stressed out about doing last minute submissions. After you did the cooking, the cleaning, putting the kids to bed, all that fun stuff with the family and with work and all that jazz. Instead of stressing out on a Sunday night, you have time on Thursday to do the work. So let's use our time on Thursdays to complete the work for the week. Does that sound good, LaQuanda, or what do you think?
Sounds great.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, because I know what it's like to be busy with life and work and school and family and all that jazz. So yeah, that was kind of my thinking behind it, and that's why I think Thursday's a great opportunity for you to complete the work for that week. Yeah, and especially because there's a lot of stuff going on. So, which leads me to the rest of the organization of this course. You'll see that it's organized by week, starting with today, which is week 1, rolling through Sunday, and then week 2 is the 23rd to the 29th. Week 3 is the 30th through November 5. It's amazing how time goes by quick, right? Week 4, 11/6 to 11/12. Week 5, 11/13 to 19. Week 6, we're getting toward Thanksgiving. Week 7, we're moving into December. And then we're done. Because the semester, if I'm not mistaken, ends, I believe, on December 3rd. So it sounds like a lot. It is a lot. You'll notice the titles of each week. They correspond with the stuff we'll be learning about. For example, in week 1, the stuff we're going to cover today, it's laid out like this. There's what we call a week at a glance. When you open that up, it provides you with an overview of the stuff that we're going to learn this week. And then when you come down, it covers the learning objectives that will be covered for the week. And then there's a fun little to-do list at the end of that overview of this week at a glance. And so this is kind of like a guide. It's a guide. So that's the week at a glance. That's in every single week. You'll have a week at a glance. So it shows you exactly what's going on. You'll notice that each week is designed the same exact format, same exact way. And that's done on purpose. It's to help you to stay organized, and it's also a great way to be consistent. You know. And then also within each week, there's an instructional materials folder. There's a couple of things going on in each week. So you'll find this one called instructional materials. You'll open that up. And it'll have, for that respective chapter, it'll have the PowerPoint presentation, the chapter that we're going to be covering. So if you open that up, there's your PowerPoint. You can also download this. There's a lot of different ways you could download it, and you can do it in alternative formats, whatever's easiest for you. Okay? The PowerPoints are going to be so important in this course. And the reason for that is because it's an awesome way to cover the chapter without having to do a whole heck of a lot of diving deep into the textbook, right? And I'll be talking about each PowerPoint, and I'll add a bunch of stuff to it in each lecture. So that's why the lectures are also very important. Then just below there is additional information about the things that we'll be covering during that week. And then there's usually going to be a couple of videos. They're optional. You don't have to watch them, but I recommend them. You know, we all learn differently. We all learn in our own speed, in our own way. The best way to learn accounting is to read, practice, and do it. Read, practice, and do it. Okay, read, practice, and do it in that order. The reason why it's designed that way is because the only way you can ever remember anything is by doing it, by practicing it. That's the only way you can remember. I find it very difficult to remember anything if I haven't done it or practiced it. And accounting, as you know, hopefully know, it's a practice. It's just like a lawyer practices law. An accountant practices accounting. A dentist practices dentistry. The same principle applies here. So read, practice, and then do it. Yep. So videos, and then below that instructional materials, you'll find, if there are for that week, you'll find any additional LinkedIn Learning videos, and then any type of tutorials. We'll talk about the QuickBooks thing here in a second. And then the next folder you'll find in any week is called Engage and Explore. In this area, Engage and Explore, you're going to do engaging things and exploring things, right? That's why we call it that. So the engaging part is usually going to be a discussion board or a hypothesis. Reason why I call that engaging is because you're engaging with each other, your colleagues in the classroom, your classmates in the classroom. You're all engaging with each other through discussion boards and through hypothesis. Okay, whatever's in that. That's the engaging part. The exploration part are Excel exercises, and then a certificate LinkedIn Learning course. Okay. I will also say this: the Excel exercises, they're just exercises. An exercise does not get graded. It does not get submitted. An exercise does not get graded, and it does not get submitted. It's just there for you to practice. It's an exercise. Yep. So these Excel exercises, you can download these Excel documents, which is the best way to do it. I'll show you what that looks like here. Download original file. It opens up like this. And then make sure you enable it. And then when you enter stuff into the cells, it'll highlight in green if it's right, red if it's wrong. Right. And then of course you have the opportunity to keep playing with it. Yeah. That's the beauty of Excel. It's really designed just to kind of show you how things work. But yeah, just have fun. So those are the Excel exercises. And then of course the engagement part is a discussion board or hypothesis. And you'll also have typically some type of certificate course. For this first week, it's just going to be a QuickBooks Online Essentials Training Certificate. And I'm going to show you what that looks like here in a second. And then the third thing you'll find in every single week is called action and expression. Just as the name implies, you'll be performing an action and an expression. The expression in this case is the submission of your QuickBooks Online Essential Training Certificate. The action in this case is the quiz for Chapter 17. Okay. Quizzes. You have 2 opportunities to get the highest grade possible on a quiz. Okay, 2 opportunities to get the highest grade possible on a quiz. You take the quiz, you didn't do so well, take it again. Take it a second time. Okay. The great news is with the quizzes, they're directly related to the content in that respective chapter. Okay. The questions are correlated. They go in order. Each quiz has roughly 10 questions per quiz. Okay. Again, you have 2 opportunities to earn the highest grade possible on a quiz. And of course, never leave any questions without an answer. Even a guess is a 20% chance of getting it right. 25%. Okay. So each week is laid out that very same way, very logical format. It's the same exact type of layout. Okay. Most weeks we have 2 chapters to cover, except for this first one, and I think the last week. And the second week we'll cover chapters 18 and 19. So this first instructional materials is going to be chapter 18, and this next instructional material is going to be chapter 19. Right. But yeah, you'll notice that each week is very organized in a very similar way. My strongest recommendation, of course, is to go in order and in sequence. Yep, and look at everything. Yep, that's the best course of action. So that way you don't miss anything. Now, this course has an additional learning component to it. It's called QuickBooks. QuickBooks is accounting software. It is used by 80% of all businesses in the United States. Okay? That's a lot. It's a lot of businesses use QuickBooks. QuickBooks helps business owners and other individuals to track their revenue, their expenses, their balances on their balance sheet, all the tracking vendors, vendor payments, customers, customer payments, all of the important stuff that we talked about back in Principles of Accounting 1. We put all that data into an accounting software. And one of those is QuickBooks, and it's the most popular and most commonly used piece of software here in the United States. So that's why I wanted you to learn it, because I find that it's extremely valuable to you to know how to use it. So during this first week, you'll be able to explore QuickBooks online through video tutorials and also this student guide document, because there's going to be in week 4, you'll have the opportunity to take 2 more certificates on QuickBooks. And then in week, was it 7? It might have been 7. Yeah, in 7, there's going to be a online certificate that you'll earn through using QuickBooks in action. Yeah, and I'm going to show you what everything looks like here in a second. Any questions so far? Y'all feel okay so far? I know it's a lot. Good? Okay, awesome. Thank you, thank you. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, it's a lot. And again, this is something new. I've never done this before, so it's relatively experimental. Christy, I see your hand.
I'm sorry, that was an accident. My dog stepping on my laptop.
That's quite all right. No worries. All right, cool. Okay, let me stop this part of the video, and I'm going to start a second one to focus on the QuickBooks part within week 1. So stand by.